Good Thursday afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us for Groups Today Midday Break. I'm Jennifer Pascua, Content Engagement Manager, and today we have a wonderful guest that'll be providing some wonderful tips for all of you as we continue to navigate through this time of pandemic. And bringing to the screen in just a few seconds, we have Catherine Heeg, and many of you may very well be aware of Catherine. She has been part of the tourism and hospitality industry for years and has provided a wealth of information, especially if you've attended things like ABA and other conventions. So joining us right now, we have Catherine. How's it going, Catherine?
Great. How are you, Jenny?
Well, hanging in there, much like many of our friends who are joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, it's some tricky times we're going through, but yet there's so many cool things that I'm seeing out in our industry with tour operators and DMOs and suppliers that it's really enlightening what's going on and how creative people are being.
Yeah, we're kind of being forced to be a little more creative, given the fact that we've had to adjust what we're so used to, working face to face. We're doing everything virtually now.
That's it. You know, when I speak at NTA conferences, there's always so much buzz about what we can do next and what's exciting in our industry now. And now is the time that we get to put all of that into play and really see it come out and see it benefit all of us.
And I think we should be very aware of the fact that for some of us, technology does not come easy.
Right.
And so what you're going to be providing for us today are some tips and tools that people can take away with them and really start crafting the way that they want their story to be told.
And that's really a good point, Jenny, because what worked in the past doesn't work anymore. Because not only are people not selling so much anymore, it's more about just inspiring people to think outside the box and putting up some posts and comments that are aspirational, getting them to think about the future.
So what are some, I guess, let's talk it through. What are some things that our tour operators and those who are joining us right now, what are some of the things that they should keep in mind?
Well, when people are posting now, it's more about posting things that are aspirational or inspirational, not actionable, because we're probably not selling a whole lot right now. So we want to just give people that opportunity to dream and to imagine what life will be like when we can travel again. So it's not only about providing beautiful pictures and great text captions that go along with it. It's about inspiring people to comment and to get engaged with the content that you're putting out right now. So what I'm seeing some operators doing is putting out content that is talking about dreaming or imagining a different destination or a travel experience. Some tour operators are asking some great questions. In fact, one of the clients that I post on behalf of, we're looking at different destinations that they will be promoting in the future, but thinking about what kind of content relates to those destinations right now. So maybe it's movies. So if they're doing a destination that's related to the West Coast, so maybe asking questions about what movies are your favorite movies that take place on the West Coast. Or another operator that I'm doing some work with, they're focusing on tours to the Midwest. So we put together a little post for them that had a list of TV shows that were shot in the Midwest. But there was one outlier, one that totally wasn't shot in the Midwest. And we asked people, which one of these doesn't belong in this list? So it was really a fun way to get people thinking not only about the destination, but about something else that's not pandemic related and something they're probably doing a lot of anyways, which is watching TV and watching Netflix. So it was really a fun way to get people engaged and still get them thinking about travel. So operators could do that same tactic with books, with Netflix shows, with artwork, with past souvenirs that they've bought in a different destination. iconic sites in a different destination that might be featured in something that they've read or looked at lately.
And I think that's a really good point because the idea with being able to share this content is the ability to have people connect with each other.
Yes. And that connection is what's going to pay off when we are able to travel again, because that's going to give you that top of mind awareness, the tip of tongue, and hopefully the people who have engaged with your content now will also have shared it to their friends and family.
And I see that we have a lot of people who are, I've got the eyes here telling me that people are tuning in. So thank you, everyone. If you're scrolling through right now, take a moment and stop and listen to what Catherine is sharing with us this afternoon in terms of social media, utilizing the connections that we have online. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. We'll bring them up and Catherine can address them directly. And Catherine, if you could talk about that, for many operators and for many DMOs, this has been such an overwhelming time. So how do you prioritize what it is that you want to put on the social media platform?
What is it that people will want to put on their social media platforms, Jenny?
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. Great. There's a little audio feedback going on here, so if I ask Jenny to repeat, please don't think it's my hearing that's going. So right now, what people are wanting to be posting is great pictures. Video is huge right now. So even if you're creating a little video in your home office of what you're doing as a tour operator. So it might be, I've seen some operators post some things about the tours that they have canceled, unfortunately, but with a reminder that these will be rebooked in the future, and keeping people engaged, sort of taking them behind the scenes, because we all know that this is tumultuous times, but maybe a lot of your clients don't totally understand what it is you as a tour operator do on a day-to-day basis. So taking them behind the scenes, pulling back the curtain a little bit, and telling them about how many tours you've canceled or how you're going to be changing your tactics moving forward. So maybe you did a whole bunch of international tours and now you're going to be pivoting and doing some more domestic or more regional tours. Those are things that you can be talking about, and maybe it's a sort of a State of the Union address or a town hall, but get yourself out in front of the camera and let your people see that you're still active, that you're still engaged, and that you're still looking towards the future. It's that little ray of hope that you can offer to your people here and now. You know, I used to be a tour operator myself, and I know all the steps you go through to book a custom tour. There's a lot of different moving pieces there. And now having to cancel all of those, that's a lot of work. Let people know that, and maybe they'll then understand all the work that you put into creating tours for the future.
Absolutely. And I see that we have some comments. Steve is asking for me to turn down my audio. We played around with it. We don't know what exactly the issue is. So I apologize for those who are hearing the feedback when I'm asking the question to Catherine. Hopefully it fixes itself in just a little bit, but please know that we were trying to work on this prior to actually jumping on live. I'm going to put up a question we have here or a comment rather, from Jim Higgins.
Okay.
He's noting that business is opening up again next week on the 4th. They're sharing a lot of cleaning and readiness videos. So, Catherine, you know, obviously we have these individuals who may very well be on a budget at this time. If you don't have the skill set to create a video, any suggestions?
Oh, everybody's got the tools to create a video, and it's called your cell phone. We all carry this in our back pocket. And while your cell phone isn't the greatest to create video on, it will be authentic video. So I've got a couple of tips for you if you are shooting video on a shoestring and maybe using your cell phone to do that. Make sure you get an external mic that plugs into the jack in your cell phone. So it could be a lapel mic like what I'm using here, or it could be just an external mic that plugs into your phone. Make sure you do that because audio is key. Even though a lot of people listen to videos online without the audio, those people that do turn it on expect decent audio. And the other tip, and this is sort of a blunder that I see a lot of people creating video outside. But keep in mind when you're creating video outside, there's all kinds of noise, ambient noise that you don't really hear yourself, but it comes across on your video. So it might be the noise of the wind, it might be the geese honking, it might be a little bit of traffic in the background. Keep that in mind when you're thinking about where you're going to shoot. Try and find a quiet place and make sure that your microphone is close to you so that people hear that over the honking might be happening.
And we should also note, Catherine, that even if you take pictures, if you can't get to that point where you feel comfortable enough with the video, pictures really do well in social media.
Absolutely, Jenny. That's a really good point because, again, we've all got our camera in our back pocket. So shooting some great photos, and then if you want the benefit of video, you could always create a video slideshow with those still images. So that's super easy to do, either using an external tool, using iMovies, you can do that with. All kinds of tools that you can create video still images. And the reason that we want to think about video is because right now, any social site that you're working on favors video over other types of posts. So that means that you're going to get more reach and you're not going to have to pay as much if you're advertising using video as your asset. So not only will that save you a little bit of money, but you'll get more reach. And of course, the reason we all want more reach is because then more people see our content. But you can then create ad audiences of those people who have seen your content or reacted to anything that you've created.
Catherine, we have a question here from Steve Jones with Six Flags America.
Great.
I'll let you read through that if you can, and then maybe address that.
Okay, so Steve says is Steve with American Plague? Okay, under normal circumstances, we are coming up to or in cases now begging to sell for 2021. How will this affect the timeline now? Stephen, that's a great question. I love it because right now we need to be planning for 2021. So whatever content you're putting out there right now, you might be making the suggestion that traveling later is an opportunity for people. And 2020 might be in the history books before we know it. And 2021 is just around the corner. So as you're preparing for that, make sure that you're shooting content that can be dripped out now, planning for the future, as well as prior to opening in 2021. And it looks like Steve also has another question here. Soft sell approach. Yes, definitely a soft sell is what's required right now. Some people are putting out full-on calls to action. But I don't know, maybe in your area that's the right thing to do. Maybe as an operator that's the right thing to do because you've got some tours coming out in the fall. But for a lot of people, it's a soft sell. It's about imagining your experience here in the future. It's about picturing yourself here when the time is right. It's about painting that image for people of what life will be like in 2021 or later in 2020.
Catherine, we have another question here, more of a technology question. What type of microphone do you have?
I love these tech questions. Right now, this is a Samsung, and I'll hold it up to the screen so you can see it. And it's a lavalier mic, and it just plugs right into my laptop. If you want to use a lavalier mic like this on your cell phone, there's a microphone that I use that's called an iRig Lav, meaning lavalier. So an iRig Lav, And it comes in a little case that's about this big, so it fits right in your purse or in your backpack or whatever you're carrying, and it's super easy to use. This Samsung was about, I think it was about $85 or $100, and it's so worth it. The iRig Lav, I think, is about $37 on Amazon. And the iRig Lav actually comes with 2 microphones in 1 jack, which is cool if you're interviewing somebody. So if you were on site interviewing somebody, you could be wearing the microphone and your guest could be wearing another microphone. So super easy to use. Great question. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on that, Catherine. Just be aware when you are purchasing those wireless mics, especially if you have an iPhone, you need to buy the adapters, or else you're going to have a hard time using it. Because in some cases, depending on which model of phone you have, those adapters are key to making those microphones work nowadays. So just another thing to keep in mind, but certainly you can pick these up on Amazon, like Catherine suggested, and on other websites as well. So one more question here, David Davenport, Catherine, I'll let you address this as well.
Oh, David, great to see you here. When do you want to start selling to clients, Facebook and direct mail? That's a great question, David. And I think it really depends on who your clients are and where you're coming from. But there's a couple of ways that you can better understand your fans to understand when it's the right time to start selling to them. So what we've talked about so far is getting people engaged with your content right now, so that the goal is that they like, comment, and share. And then you can go behind the scenes in your own social sites and create audiences of those people who have taken some action on your posts. That means that you can then show future ads to just those people. So in my mind, when I'm thinking about marketing, I like to think about this as that those people who are liking, commenting, and sharing, that they're having some reaction, they might be your early adapters. They might be the people that are going to be first to travel with you. So creating those ad audiences and then starting to show more content to people that maybe is a soft sell and seeing how the reaction works for them. The other thing that you can do to sort of understand the sentiment of your fans a little bit better is look at your Google Analytics and see how many people are actually moving from Facebook or one of your social sites over to your website, because that might give you an idea if people are interested enough to click through and see something on your website. The other thing you might want to do is, if you have a Pinterest account that you're using for business, in Pinterest you can look at the interests of your fans. So right now you might see that the interest of your fans is all about cooking and DIY and home decor. But as things start to evolve and as we transition into the next normal, then you might see that those interests start to transition more to travel or to travel-like experiences or cool suitcases or travel tips. So understanding where your audience is right now is key to understanding where you're going to want to be positioning yourself for the future. So David, the other thing you might want to check is also Twitter. So you could look at Twitter hashtags, what's trending on Twitter, and that might give you an indication of whether your people or people in general are ready to start traveling again.
Wonderful advice there, Catherine. What I love about our midday break is the ability to share with each other. We have Jay here just saying he got his mic from a company right there. Now, no, that's in a small pouch, plugs right into your towel. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, Jay.
Jay, it's great to see you here. Thanks again for joining us. Jay is a good friend of mine, so thank you for being here, Jay. And I love, by the way, Jay's videos that he's shooting. He's gone behind the scenes a little bit and shot some things in his backyard using his cell phone. And Jay's done a great job of making sure that his cell phone is positioned like this, not like this.
Yeah. So, and it differs because at some points, if you're doing a video, say on Instagram, it does need to be vertical. So be aware of what platform you're using before you actually press that live button.
Right, that's a great point. And if you find you're getting more video views on Instagram, then go ahead and start shooting more of that vertical video. But if you're finding all of your fans or most of your fans are on Facebook, please remember to shoot this way. You take up way more real estate on Facebook and you'll get better views because you don't have those funny lines on the side.
Absolutely. So Frank has a question here that I'll let you address.
You need to get a haircut, Frank. I know the feeling. Mine is out of control. So you're looking at video marketing firms, Hippo and Vidyard. Okay, great, Frank. Thanks so much for reaching out. Frank and I have talked in the past as well. And if you're looking at those firms, those are great. Just as you're considering what firms to use, make sure that they tick off all the boxes of where you want to be in producing your video and how easy it is to use. Because Jenny and I were talking earlier, not everybody is super tech savvy. So make sure that whatever video or marketing firm you're using, that it's easy to use and that you'll use it, because there's all kinds of video options out there, but if you're not going to use it or if it's too hard to use, it's not worth your money. So the other video options that you might want to consider, in addition to what Frank had up on the screen, I use a tool called Screencastomatic. I know it's kind of a funny word, but it's super easy. I just video from my laptop, and it's what I shoot all my videos with, that I do 2 or 3 videos every single week. So Screencastomatic, there it is on the screen. And I can shoot and edit in Screencastomatic. Plus they have a green screen option, so I can also use some green screen if I want to.
Yeah, and what's fun is the ability to be able to learn all of this, but things are changing so much. If you're not sure, head over to YouTube, because you can learn everything on YouTube these days.
Yes, you can. And Google. I mean, if you don't know what other video platforms to use, just Google and you'll come up with a whole range of them. But then the challenge is sort of sorting through all of them and seeing which one is going to work for your goals and which one is going to work for what you want it to do.
Yeah. So we promised the participants that they'd be getting some good takeaways, which certainly you have shared, Catherine, throughout this midday break. Here is Catherine's website. Now, if you go onto this website, you're offering something pretty neat. So let's talk about the survival checklist.
Yeah, this survival checklist is something that I put together right at the beginning of these tricky times, right at the beginning of the pandemonium. And it's really a list, a checklist of things that you can be doing now, what types of posts you want to be creating, how you want to be generating conversations, as well as what you can do behind the scenes. So we talked a little bit about pulling the curtain back and what you can be doing with your insights and creating different audiences. And then it also talks about what you can be doing to prepare for the future. So creating more video that you can drip out in the future, creating blog posts, creating some evergreen content that you can use now. So all of that stuff is in this survival checklist, and it's free. So you can just go ahead and grab the link that I know Jenny has here, and there it is. And go there, download that, and if you've got anything you want to add to it, please let me know, and I can easily revise that for you.
Catherine, so much information that you provided for a lot of people today. A reminder that once this live is done, you can rewind, rewatch, and share. So we hope that all of you do that. Catherine, any final words in regards to being able to kind of push through, be creative, and stay positive?
All of those things are so important. We have sort of, I don't want to say the luxury of time, but this is a really unusual time. And if we make the most of this time that we have now, we're only going to be doing ourselves and our industry a favor, because we'll have created some great content. We'll have kept in touch with clients. We'll have communicated, let people know that we're alive and strong, and built stronger relationships with colleagues and with clients. So in planning for the future, think about those relationships, because that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day, isn't it? Great relationships with people and continuing those into the future.
And Catherine, if people want to get a hold of you and a lot of what you discussed today, they can do so on your website, right?
Absolutely. There's a contact page on my website.
Thank you so much for taking the time today. Reminder for those of you that would like the latest articles on Groups Today, you can head over to groupstoday.com. So thank you for checking in during this midday break. Catherine, thank you for your expertise, and we will see you next week.
Great. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.